And the stock market is not the economy. The economy is the ability of people to buy things. And this is, it's fascinating. I mean, Joe Scarborough going through his list this morning of how the Republican long con is now being seen through. I mean, the Republican long con is actually has a philosophical basis to it. It wasn't that Barry Goldwater in 1964 sat around and, with a bunch of the Republican elders, with Everett Dirksen and William F. Buckley and Russell Kirk, and said, and on, and said, hey, let's just destroy the middle class. Wouldn't that be fun? It wasn't that at all. It was really two things. One, back in 1951-52, when Russell Kirk published The Conservative Mind, the father of the modern conservative movement, he pointed out that the American middle class was growing and growing more rapidly than we've ever seen in the history of the United States. It was like nothing we've ever seen. It was, obviously, it was in large part the result of the largest government economic stimulus program in the history of the United States, which was called World War II. And we didn't, unlike, Iraq, for example, Iraq and Afghanistan, we've spent somewhere between $2 and $4 trillion in the Middle East so far. If this had been World War II style spending, you would see unemployment in the United States right now at 1%, and you'd see wages up 25%. So why is that not the case? Because the spending is not all that different from some of the years during World War II. Well, the reason why it's not the case is that during World War II, Franklin Roosevelt built things here. And what George W. Bush did, his brilliant idea, was, hey, let's outsource this stuff. Let's get private for-profit corporations, principally American corporations, principally Halliburton, which was on the verge of bankruptcy when Dick Cheney was its CEO because he made the stupid acquisition of Dresser Industries with their huge asbestos liability, and back in 1999. And that company was teetering on the edge of bankruptcy. Let's bail out Halliburton and turn Dick Cheney into a multimillionaire again, among other companies. And let's give them the money, but have them do the manufacturing in Iraq. Let's rebuild Iraq. Let's rebuild Afghanistan. Or let's build military bases in Iraq and Afghanistan. Now, that's not to say we didn't do some construction during World War II. But the vast majority of what we did, we turned our car factories into tank and airplane factories. We turned our ladies' nylon factories into parachute factories. We turned our clothing factories into uniform factories. We built things. Our shoe factories became, combat boot factories. We built things in the United States for World War II. So there's this huge stimulus. So anyhow, Russell Kirk looks at this, and this huge stimulus is producing this enormous American middle class. And the core tenet of conservatism is don't trust the average person. And you're seeing this played out right now in the Republican Party's reaction to Donald Trump's followers. Oh my God, these toothless hillbillies who all look like the Dukes of Hazzard or like the Duck Dynasty guys. Interestingly, I think more than half of the Duck Dynasty kids have like bachelor's degrees or better. They're actually a very wealthy multimillionaire family. They've got this shtick. But in any case, the Republicans are like, oh my God, look at these Donald Trump followers. They're just useful idiots. We can't have. Well, no, that's the people that they were warning about. And what did Russell Kirk say? If the middle class gets enough economic power, their kids are going to revolt. Minorities are going to start standing up and saying, we want part of this, because back then it was all white people. The minorities are going to say, we want part of this. Gay people are going to say we want some of this. Women who were working in the factories during the 40s, in the early 50s, we said, go back home and have babies. Women are going to come out, and Russell Kirk predicted all this stuff, and he was right. And it was called the 60s and 70s. And the reaction to that was basically Reaganomics. Destroy the middle class.